Now that we have made all the processing presets, assigned the modules to the buses and consoles, we will now configure the modules itself on the module configuration page. Here we see an overview of all 32 modules that are available on one DSP card. If we insert a second DSP card, another 32 buses and 32 modules will be available. Every module has 4 presets. Every preset has an A and a B preset. The preset will be programmed for one mixing console. So preset is for console 1, and on this console we can choose between module preset A and B. In this particular preset, preset 1 on module 4, we will get a mic input on A with a module preset guest. And on preset B we will get CD1 with no processing. If we look at preset 2, we see on module 4 hybrid 1 and on preset B Firewire. How do we do this? We click on a module and a new page unfolds. Here we see again our presets, 4 presets, and every preset has an A and a B selection. So we can in fact program 8 presets per module. But we can also use 4 presets with sub-presets A and B. In this way it's possible to program a switch on a module that alternates between A and B. Some cases it is requested to have a standard input with an alternative second sort. In this case we can imagine that microphone 4 is the default mic, and as an alternative input we have created a CD player. The difference between the mic input and the CD player is that the microphone will get a specific processing preset for mics, and the CD player preset that is useful for a CD player. In this case this is the preset guest preset, in which a low cut, equalizer and dynamics is active. The CD player has no processing. This means no EQ, no low cut and no dynamics active. These presets can be chosen from a list we have here. These are the presets we've programmed earlier. We can also choose none, so nothing happens in a module as is this. Then only the signal source will be switched. In preset 2 we have a hybrid. The hybrid gets a hybrid preset and have Firewire for the alternate B source. Here's the processing also set to no. Apart from the processing presets that controls the equalizer, dynamics, insert, low cut, fader level and on status, we can also make a routing preset. With a routing preset we can route a signal to a specific bus the moment a microphone preset is selected. In this case we want auxiliary 1 to be active with mic 4 at all times. We can do the same with the CD player. Here we program yes in the column override and off in the column status. With save we store the data and leave this menu. In this way we have an overview of what is active on preset 1 on A and B source. If we here click on the active label we see what we have programmed. So with mic 4, which is preset 1A, auxiliary 1 will be activated. When we select 1B, which is a CD player, auxiliary will be switched off. So now we have made a processing preset and a routing preset. Remember, it's only possible to select a preset when the module is off. This is to avoid unwanted situations when the console is on air. Sometimes it's necessary to override this feature. We do that in the column Ignore Module State with a yes. If this is set to yes, the preset can be recalled while the module is on air. When set to no, this is only possible when a module is off or the fader is fully down. The second part of the module setup is the processing of the module itself. How will the module start up when the console is activated? In this case we see that low cut will be switched off, insert is off, phase is off, mono is off, dynamics is off, module is off and fader is down. So when the mixer gets its power, this is the setting the module will come up with. When we have no on switch in the mixer, in other words, we have not assigned a switch to behave like an on switch, it is necessary to program the mixer with the on switch active, because we simply cannot switch it on by hand. These use at source select functions will be activated if we select a source on a module by the source select. At that moment, these functions will be active. In case a source has its own preset, for instance a hybrid has its own source in the source list of the hybrid, then that preset will be used. This column, use at source select, will only be used when the source does not have its own preset. In this setup, it's also possible to program the equalizer the way we want it. For instance, we will always want high to be on 7K, mid on 2 kHz and low on 300 Hz. We set the bandwidth and the maximum range of the EQ to 12 dB. If we want to use these settings for the whole console, we store it by clicking on Save. Then we click on to all Console 1 modules and the whole mixer will get the same EQ settings. We can also do that for the dynamic settings. If these settings are okay, we can copy them to all modules of Console 1. The last section of this page is about routing. In Console 1, we have assigned the first buses of Console 1, which are Program, Record, Auxiliary 1, 2, 3, 4, Dumb bus and PFL bus. In this section, we activate the default setting of the buses when the console starts up. In this example, the program bus is activated for all modules. But we can also activate the program bus when a source is selected in the column Use at Source Select. These are the default settings of Module 4 that will be activated when the console is powered up, in this case the program bus. We can also locally switch buses to pre or post or reset them to default values. Also in this case we can copy all settings to all Console 1 modules, and if we have a Console 2, to all Console 2 modules. On this module configuration page, we decide how we want a module to behave. In short, which EQ is active, what source will be selected, what preset is active, and what preset will be loaded. How the presets are configured and which preset will be loaded when a source is selected. This we can do for a maximum of 4 mixers in the system. Here you see an overview of all 4 consoles based on one DSP with 32 modules.